The impact of the smash in Main Road split the 1976 model panel van in half. Killed instantly were the passengers, a teenage girl and an 18-year-old man, both from the Toukley area. The driver, also from Toukley, was thrown clear of the wreckage. He was found by nearby residents. He's now in a satisfactory condition in Wyong Hospital. Scientific squad police from Sydney are on the scene continuing their investigations into the cause of the smash. This is the second double fatal road accident on the Central Coast in less than a week. Last Saturday night, two men aged 18 and 19 died when their car left the road at the entrance. The force of the impact split the 1976 model panel van in half. The front section of the car ended up in a nearby yard some 15 metres from the power pole. The 18-year-old driver, also from Toukley, was thrown clear and assisted by nearby residents. He was taken to Wyong Hospital for treatment. Firemen say it was lucky power lines weren't brought down, as there was a large spill of petrol on the roadway after the crash. Police say the driver may have lost control of the car on the right-hand curve in Main Road. And the Accident Investigation Squad from Sydney is now joining in the investigations. The front section of the panel van landed in the yard of nearby resident Elaine Deebs.
When I came out early this morning, about 6:15, the driver of the car was crawling on the footpath outside half the car, which is up against the pole. There was a dead female passenger in the back and a young lad strapped to his car seat, which appeared to be dead.
This isn't the first time an accident's happened like this?
No, it's quite frequent in my front yard. This is my bedroom here, and they would have been into my bedroom, you know, so you can be lucky, I suppose. I just feel sorry for the parents of the children that's been killed.
This is the second double fatal road accident on the Central Coast in less than a week. Last Saturday night, two men aged 18 and 19 died when their car left the road at the entrance.
And tonight's launch of the Sandra Marie will cap that success in an equally big way. The bulk carrier follows into the water, the 11 catamaran ferries built for Sydney Harbour and the 2 built for Newcastle. In May, Carrington's launched the first of 2 twin-hulled mine hunters for the Navy. Of all the ships built by the company, only the Tobruk and the Accolade II have been bigger than the Sandra Marie. The owners are the Intercontinental Group, and the ship is being chartered by ICI to carry soda ash and containers from Adelaide to Sydney. What's significant for Carrington's and the whole of the Australian shipbuilding industry is that it won the contract to build such a large ship over Japanese and Korean competitors.
Well, it's a very large ship for us to build. We've built 2 like this before, the Tobruk and the Accolade II, and this is a large ship that we've contracted against the Japanese and against the Koreans, and we won it, and we've been able to design and build this ship in what we consider is very good time. It's launched tonight, and we'll be able to hand it over in about 7 weeks to the owners, and we're very proud of our achievement.
The Sandra Marie is expected to make a spectacular splash when it slides into the water at 8 tonight.
The mood in Rathmines this morning was one of shock, anger and helplessness. The residents of the lakeside suburb had thrown their weight behind the Coe family, but yesterday morning without warning, they were whisked away by 3 men from the Department of Immigration.
We were so prepared to do everything the straight way. They've just been taken away like fugitives in the night. We haven't had a chance to say goodbye to Mary, a friend of it. You know, can you just imagine a friend of yours just ripped out and
Since arriving in Australia in January 1980 on a visitor's visa, David and Mary Coe had applied many times for permanent residency for themselves and their children, Elaine now 8 and 2-year-old Amy. They were repeatedly refused and court appeals were rejected. This did not deter the Coes, however, from buying this restaurant in 1982, which until Thursday employed 3 others, or this house last December. In February, they were told again to leave the country. Again, the Rathmines community showed its support for the hard-working family by way of a large public meeting, and David expressed his concern for his children should they be forced to return to Malaysia.
We worry a lot for our children, you see. They won't be able to go to any school in Malaysia, especially the English school. And she knows nothing of other language except the English language.
At 8 o'clock yesterday morning, the Department of Immigration swooped on their home and shattered their world. The Coes were allowed to take only a couple of suitcases. They had no time to clear away food, clean the house, collect their daughter's dolls or gather their personal possessions. Bill Ware was one of the number of people David Coe desperately sought the assistance of. He gave Bill the keys to his car, house and restaurant and tried desperately to get his affairs in order. By 1:30 the Coes were on their way to Sydney's Villawood Detention Centre and today they were flown to Kuala Lumpur. Perishable food still in the house and restaurant and 8-year-old Elaine's homework still on one of the tables. The Rathmines community is outraged but determined to see the Coes returned to their home.
Because they've integrated so well into the community that it's just not right to see these sort of people being just driven out like thieves in the night. When other people in home.
The last 3 world champions in the 505 class have come from the Royal Motor Yacht Club at Toronto. Those 3 teams were training on the lake yesterday in preparation for this year's titles, which begin on the Bay of Biscay in France late next month. Gary Brunninges and Greg Gardner in Dad's Lads currently hold the crown. Dean Blatchford and Tom Woods in Saltwater Wide won in 1984, while Terry and Jeff Kerwood won in 83. They are 3 of the 4 teams representing Australia. The other is a Queensland boat, Sheep Dip, sailed by John Warlow. Gary Brunninges is wary of the overseas teams, but believes the locals are the ones to beat.
I think we'll have a lot of competition from the local boats, the guys we're training with here now, Dean Blatchford and Terry Kerwood. And as far as the overseas competitors go, we just won't know till we get there.
The teams have been training on the lake since Easter. Brunninges says the boats are not as fast as they could be and says there is fine tuning that needs doing.
We are slightly disadvantaged as far as sea conditions because of the flat water on the lake, but we've found in the past if our boats are quick on the lake, they generally are fast when we go overseas. A slow boat on the lake won't be fast when we go away.
Well, I thought that there wasn't a lot being offered for young people independent of the commercial scene, and that perhaps this could be an informal gathering place for young people and for others perhaps interested in the arts. We hope to expand from independent film and video to poetry, readings perhaps from local people and from other regions as well, and for musicians and performers, and even, you know, there'd be a place for the stand-up comic that wants to try out their skills for the first time.
What can people expect if they come along to one of these nights?
We might be starting off small, but we hope to build up to a bigger crowd and have sort of like a cafe atmosphere, an informal atmosphere, not so much like a university course or something like that. It's meant to be fun, but also to make people think.
The mine management notified employees late yesterday that it had had enough of a concerted campaign by the workers for bigger bonus payments. Unionists were on strike for 4 days last week, returning to the job at 1 o'clock yesterday morning, but immediately instituting a go slow. At 4:45 yesterday afternoon, management notified all 450 employees that the colliery would shut until they're prepared to work according to the award. No negotiations are scheduled at this stage, but the management says it's prepared to discuss the matter at any time. Mine manager Keith Smith says the strike and go slow campaign are against a recommendation from the local coal authority that no industrial action be instituted during negotiations on the bonus arrangement. Jim Black has been involved in judo for 30 years, and if he has anything to do with it, he'll still be involved in another 30. These days he concentrates on training, like this class at the Newcastle Police Citizens Youth Club at Broadmeadow last night. He's also the president of the Hunter Valley Judo Association. Last week he was awarded the Yon Dan, or the 4th Dan black belt, by the Australian Judo Association, making him the highest rated judo exponent in the Hunter. As a sign of how far he's gone in the sport, the highest rating is 10th Dan. The highest in Australia at this stage is 6th. Not surprisingly, Jim is very proud of his latest achievement.
Well, to me it's a very good achievement. It's something I never thought I'd ever get, and I'm very happy to have got it.
So how hard was it for you to get the Yon Dan?
Well, a lot easier than the last couple, because this one was more for honorary, for teaching, administration. I mean, 30 years in the sport.
At 48 years of age, I suppose a lot of people are thinking about slippers in the armchair. Do you sort of think you might be heading that way?
Well, one of our players out here is 50-year-old and he's got 9 grandkids. So he's still doing it, why shouldn't I?
And how long do you think you'll be going in the sport?
Well, we've got a 6th Dan down in Sydney, he still does it at 80-year-old. So there's no reason why I can't do it too.
The Newcastle City Council was sacked in October 1984 by the then local government minister Kevin Stewart. The minister claimed the council had become unworkable and Colin Saunders was appointed city administrator. A local government inspector's report into the running of the council and its administration recommended town clerk Barry Lewis should be sacked. Further recommendations on restructuring the administration were made and are now being put into place. Final amendments 2 of the Greater Newcastle Act will go through next Tuesday. Those amendments include abolishing wards, limiting the number of aldermen to 12, and introducing an electoral system similar to the State Legislative Council for the filling of extraordinary vacancies. Opinion today seems to suggest that with the chance to start afresh, the new council will be more workable than before.
Will it be workable?
I believe so, very much. Not only because it'll have an administration complete change, which is excellent the way it's been put into place, but you're going to have naturally smaller numbers of council, you won't have the parochialism of wards, you're going to have them there of the city franchise as elected representatives representing all the people of Newcastle.
The factors in relation to the changes to the administration are still in process, and some of them may still be in process at that stage, but nevertheless they will be handed back to the council in going form, and even though there may be small pockets to be completed, it will be practical for the council to take over at that stage.
Will there be any problems as there were last time?
Well, depending on who the aldermen are that are selected, there's got to be very selective processes adopted in relation to the various groups, and with the right alderman being nominated, or the right people being nominated, the council should be quite productive.
Do you see the election campaigns running?
Well, I can only speak for our own side as far as what's happening, but we're really well and truly organised. We have our policies well formulated, ready to be released, and we're really anxious to go, straining at the leash.
The announcement of the election date in September will bring to an end the job of City Administrator Colin Saunders, but the future of Town Clerk Barry Lewis still rests with the newly elected council.
Entitled Technology for the Disabled, the seminar was organised by the Newcastle Division of the Institution of Engineers Australia. It was a look at the way the different technological advances, both electrical and mechanical, have made it possible for the disabled to take part in a normal range of activities. The speakers were Professor N.L. Svensson, the Dean of Engineering at the University of New South Wales, and Associate Professor G.F. Shannon from the Electrical Engineering Department at Queensland University. The seminar was part of a series held in the capital cities and also here. Technological advances are helping people with a variety of disabilities in different ways, but according to the speakers, they are all helping disabled people gain more self-esteem.
Leading to a stage whereby disabled people can look to lead a lifestyle which isn't all that much different from the able-bodied person. So, access, mobility, self-respect that comes from being able to do something which is contributing towards a gainful employment, a source of income for themselves. And self-respect's pretty important for people to have.
For a reasonably young company, Rosemount Estate Wines has built a strong reputation. Formed in the early 70s, Rosemount has already won many major national and international awards, and in the last 3 years the company has become the biggest Australian exporter of bottled wines to the United Kingdom. Before last week's success at the Hunter Valley Wine Show, Rosemount had also been invited to take part in a national wine promotion in the UK to mark the wedding of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. 400 hectares of the estate near Denman on the Hunter River is under cultivation with a wide range of grape varieties, including Cabernet Sauvignon, Shiraz and Chardonnay. Winemaker Philip Shaw says much of Rosemount's success is based on the careful blend of both modern and traditional winemaking techniques, with a commitment to producing quality table wines.
I think it's just a philosophy of working and aiming and achieving what we're having a definite goal to achieve at.
You'll also be involved with a promotion for the royal wedding. What does that involve?
One of the largest companies over in UK have selected out, they do on any special occasion, select 2 wines, a white and a red, for promotion, their own promotions and that, and it involves I think between 500 and 1,000 outlets. And it's the first time Australian wine has been chosen, and in the past has always been French wine, I believe. So it's quite a compliment for ourselves and the Australian wine industry.
This is 8-year-old Angel, the golden retriever who's found a full-time job as a resident companion at the Maitland Hospital. Angel is a graduate of the Royal Guide Dogs Pets as Therapy or PAT program. More than 100 dogs are scattered throughout the state, bringing a bit of canine love and affection to those who'll benefit most from the PAT scheme. Some of the dogs used are those who missed out on selection into the Royal Guide Dogs, but Angel was donated by her owners after 8 years of faithful service in pedigree show rings. According to PAT team member Gwen Bush, basic dog care creates a bond with therapeutic value.
If they're brushing and grooming and walking, they're using their muscles that they don't really want to move and thinking more of the dog than themselves, which helps them.
Just how successful has the PAT program been?
Oh, very, very successful. In many ways it's helped in people who have just the staff in nursing homes couldn't get any response at all, and then they talk to the dog and even want to do things with the dog and move.
Even though lovable Angel's too old to be accepted by the Royal Guide Dog Association, she says she doesn't really mind because she knows she'll be getting and giving more than enough love in her new home. It was the 2 strongest school teams in the area that played in the Commonwealth Bank University Shield final at Raymond Terrace High School today. Cardiff High and the Green and Gold used their strength in the forward pack to put up a strong attack, but they were no match for the Raymond Terrace side who led 14-8 at half-time. Representative in the Australian Under-15s League team, halfback Jason Martin and second row Brett Klenberg combined their strength and speed to give Raymond Terrace a runaway lead in the second half, bringing the final score 30-8. In the 5 Shield games that Raymond Terrace High School have played, they've scored 183 points, with only 30 scored against them. It was a consistent team effort combined with a bit of luck that will now send Raymond Terrace High School to play the winners of the Group 9 Northwest competition.
The visit attracted a deal of interest from local businessmen. It was arranged to promote better trade relations between the two countries and to pinpoint areas where opportunities exist. The seminar was the first of its kind to be held in New South Wales, and as such is a sign that the US recognises the Hunter Valley as a leading contributor to the Australian economy. In 1985, the United States replaced Japan as the largest supplier of goods to Australia, while Australia moved into the top 20 suppliers of merchandise imports to the US. Both countries are currently faced with a similar economic problem, large trade deficits.
Well, our specific reason is to meet the business community, to find out what is bothering them in terms of opportunities of closer ties with the United States. We're looking at trying to actually help both of our economies in the fact that we both have sinking dollars and the fact that we both have huge deficits. We have technology that I'm sure Australia could use and take advantage of in developing your own exports.
Australia presently exports large quantities of iron and steel to America, but there's at least one other Hunter Valley product they just can't seem to get enough of.
I love the wine, and we'd like to see more of that in the United States.